Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again and thank you for your attention. A warm welcome to all of you once again on a Sunday evening. And we are very pleased to announce you that Fyava is holding this event. The event is being held on the traditional lands of the Noongar people and we thank them for that. We have the privilege today of Mayor Teresa Lyons. May I request the Mayor to please come on the stage and accept a little token of your appreciation for your... May I call Atulji, the chairman, past chairman of Fyava and the patron IPP, to please hand over a scarf to the Mayor. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. May I request Sarah Saberi, Councillor for the City of Canning, to please come on the stage. May I now request Councillor Emma Zhang, City of Gosnells, to please come on the stage. Thank you. Thank you. May I request Mr. Joe Tazuma, who is the President for the Organization of African Communities, to please come on the stage. Thank you, Joe. Sadly, we are still waiting for Councillor Sarah Patterson. And once she is here, we'll probably look after them. And also Lulu, who is from the Somalian support group. Yeah, once everyone's here, we'll have the special photograph with everybody. We'll get along with the program for today, which is for domestic violence, which is being very well controlled by and helped by our own Sonal Bhushanji. She has been doing this work for a long time, and this is the third year that Fyava is organizing this particular event. May I call upon Aibji, the chairperson for the Fyava, to please come and help us address the thing. Thank you.
Your Worship, Mayor Teresa Lyons, Councillor Sarah Saberi, City of Canning, Councillor Emma Zhang, City of Gosnells, Mr. Joe Tuzuma, the President of the Organization of African Communities. Dear friends, good evening and welcome to Fyava's Domestic Violence Seminar. Let me first of all start by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, the Wajak Noongar people, and pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. The human brain is a very complex piece of equipment. It's an organ, but because I'm from the engineering background, I'd say it's a very complex piece of equipment. When we are born with a clean slate. It's a white paper, and from the moment we are born, that paper gets written on by whatever we experience, whatever we see and feel around us. And when we become adults, when we become mature, and then we start a relationship with another human brain, which is another complex piece of cake, that's where relationships start. And in the beginning, the honeymoon period, it's all good because only seen the internals, the externals. But then slowly we get to know each other more. And as they say, familiarity breeds contempt. And sometimes we forget why we came together for. And sometimes the small things, the small imperfections in each and every one of us gets noticed more and more, and people start, the relationship starts going sour. I think when we were back in India, India we had a joint family. So I used to live with my parents, with their parents, with my uncles and aunts, and we either met every day or every other day. And there were a lot of people looking out for us. They see if something's going wrong. Hey, beta kya hua? Hey, son, what's wrong? Is there something going on? Can we help? Can we not help? No, look at that. She's such a good lady. What is your problem? Things like that. But here, we are in satellite families. We are isolated. We don't have that joint family support. So for the Indian community, all of us are sort of extended family to the other Indian families that are here. So I think the intention of today's presentation, today's seminar, today's forum is to make people aware. Another thing is, anything to do with family strife and family things is a bit of a taboo for us. We think if somebody else knows about it, it is shameful. We want to hide it. We don't want to let it out. And we keep it within ourselves and endure it and suffer it. But what most of us do not know, many of us here do, but most of our community do not know, is that the Australian government, whether it be the federal government, the state government, the local government, the city councils, there are so many departments, there are so many resources available for situations that can arise within our own internal families. So today's aim is to bring some of that information. You all would have seen some paper on your desks that gives you a lot of information about the Red Cross, about Relationships Australia, about the police, about the Department of Home Affairs. These are things that you can take back to your own communities, to your own families, and let people know that there are resources available which will help us to come out of situations. Our main intent is to know when there is a situation occurring, when the situation arising, to intervene as soon as possible, try and resolve it before it goes to a bigger situation. Or if there is no other way, show people the avenues on how to do it, without strife, without calling each other bad names, without getting physical, without hurting others, but still be able to go our own separate ways. So this is the intention of today's event. We, Federation of Indian Associations, we are also organizing next month an elder engagement picnic like the one we did last year. Some of you were there, and all those who came, 30, 35, 40 people who came last year enjoyed it very much. We had a day trip outing to York. So this year we are planning one to Bunbury, which will hopefully be next year. So everybody is welcome to that. We'll send out invitations to that later on. Now, these things, the work that we do in the domestic violence or domestic strife, in the elder engagement, there are instances of elder abuse, instances of child abuse, and these instances within the Indian community is growing day by day. Maybe because number of Indians here are also growing exponentially. 10 years ago, the number of people were less than 1/3 of the number of Indians who are here today. We have got 500,000 Indians in the whole of Australia, 120,000 plus in WA. So if any of you is interested, I know all of you do a lot of human work service in this field, but if any of you is interested to getting involved, then please contact us, or please contact any of the organizations that are in that paperwork, and there is plenty of work that we can do. We need volunteers, more and more volunteers, to help us to meet the demand in this sphere, in this particular area of activity. So one thing I can promise you, if you are willing to come forward and do some help, you will not get any money, you will not get any name or fame. All of these I can promise you, but maybe you will be able to sleep better at night. You will be able to live with your own conscience. You will be able, when the day of reckoning comes and the blindfolded lady holds up that scale, you may be able to tip the scales with the amount of good karma that you are doing, which will hopefully outweigh our bad karma. And hopefully we can get to wherever we believe we are going to after the end of our lives. So that's what all this is all about. I hope you all have a good time. Entrees are ready. If your people came in late, please have the entrees. Tea is available. Dinner follows. Do not go without having this wonderful 3-course dinner from the Golden Chariot. Let me also mention a big thank you to the City of Gosnells for approving our grant application and providing us with the funding to hold this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, IPG. Wonderfully put. Gives us a better appreciation of what we are looking forward to. May I request our Atul Gargji, past president for Fyava and the patron, to say a few words.
Thanks, Ferozi. Your Worship, Teresa, Lyons, Mayor of Gosnells, Councillors Sarah, Emma, and Sarah Saberi. Sarah hasn't yet come, but I hope she'll be coming soon. Fyava Chairperson IG, heads of Fyava member organizations and international organizations. At the moment we have Joe. We are expecting Mr. Lul also to come later on. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, I too acknowledge the owners, traditional owners of the land on whose land we conduct today's ceremonies. I start with a famous quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. When you give joy to other people, you get more joy in your own life in return. Another one by Ziegler is, you can get everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people to get what they want. And there are many other quotes like from great people, our own Mother Teresa. There are hundreds of them. And what you give to others, you get a lot in return. What I just mentioned, big thing is you get a very comfortable sleep and you feel very nice about it yourself. And all the great people have said that. It is very important. You don't get money, you don't get anything, you may not get any recognition, but what you feel within yourself is priceless. Ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no place for domestic violence, and Fyava stands strongly and firmly against any sort of domestic or family violence in our community. Fyava was created as a body to provide services which the Indian community was deprived for last 50 years. We specialize in those services, and we have been delivering them effectively for more than 4 years now. Fyava continues to provide services to alleviate and manage bereavement. Bereavement, I'm sure you understand, students whose parent passed away and doesn't have money for the final rites. So we do assist, we'll do a bit of fundraising and we'll assist such cases. Student hardships, elder engagement, domestic violence. You'll be surprised, even in Perth, in such an educated society, there are elders being abused by their own children. And I do get contacted by some elders. We keep all this confidential, that my children have done this. Do you think it is right, or do you think I should intervene? And we do help. We also have our legal channels, and we take proper advice and guide the elder accordingly. And of course, domestic violence and migrant assistance. Those are, once again, are very strong points. In simple words, Fyava specializes and takes pride in bringing back smile and happiness in people's lives. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole days, says the Dalai Lama. The great man, the Dalai Lama. He's got many other sayings like this. Each of them is priceless. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular talk was only just to say some nice things, to feel nice about yourself and why volunteering is important. Later on, I'll come back on the stage again to say a word of thanks. So ladies and gentlemen, let's work together and we'll eliminate the social evil of domestic violence from our community altogether. Thanks and God bless.
That's wonderful. Atulji, thank you very much for your ideas and views. We appreciate that. May I request the Mayor, Teresa Lyons, to please come and address us and give us her thoughts on the domestic violence and a bit on the city of Gosnell. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Kai Wanju. Good evening, everybody. Kai Wanju is Noongar for hello and welcome, if you haven't already heard that somewhere before. As Mayor of the City of Gosnells and on behalf of my fellow councillors, I would like to thank the Federation of Indian Associations of WA for inviting us here tonight for your forum. The City of Gosnells respectfully acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and we pay our respects to their culture and to their elders, both past and present. Let me just turn my page, I would also like to acknowledge my fellow councillor, Councillor Emma Zhang. Emma, have a wave. Thank you. And Councillor Sarah Sabiri from the City of Canning. Thank you, Sarah. We did have a message through from Councillor Sarah Patterson. Unfortunately, she's an apology for this evening. And I did talk to Sarah earlier in the week. Now, Sarah works for a company called Midlas, which is a legal service out at the city of Swan in Midland, and she deals with people that are underprivileged and domestic violence every day in her work life, and she was really, really looking forward to coming here. So she's unfortunately unwell, so she couldn't make it tonight, so apologies for that. I would also like to acknowledge Chairman IP Chandamenal, thank you, and the Deputy Chairpersons Hemant Kumar, Mr Bali Singh and Feroz Pistonji. And also like to acknowledge the patron, Mr Atul Gorge. Where's he gone? Is he gone? There he is there, sorry. And also Mr Joe D'Souza of the Organisation of African Communities. Thank you for coming along tonight to support the Indian Association. And everybody else here that's made the time to come along and hear what everybody's got to say. The City of Gosnells was previously proud to support the Federation of Indian Associations of WA Symposium on Domestic Violence and Mental Health, which identified a clear need for pilot program to tackle domestic violence. As a result, the City is pleased to continue its support for the Federation to establish a domestic violence program and host today's forum through the City's community program funding. Now, if you're a City of Gosnells ratepayer or a resident here, this means you have contributed partially to holding this event tonight, so thank you for that, and thank you for allowing us councillors to share your funds to worthy causes such as this. We all have a role to play in preventing domestic violence, and the City's sponsorship of the Federation program will improve access to current information and support for vulnerable members of our community. Effective solutions have to be tailored to local communities, and they need to be culturally safe. Your program addresses these factors, and I congratulate you on this important initiative for your communities. I'm hopeful that your activities will focus and enhance the local community's ability to minimise incidents of domestic violence through education, early intervention, and most importantly, prevention. I'm sure you'll find this forum informative, and it will provide you with some useful and practical information that you can take back to your communities and share with your neighbourhood and family and friends if need be. I note that there is like a really extensive booklet on the page that you all have, and I haven't looked quite right through it, but what I do know is that the City of Gosnells at the Agonis Centre, they have two facilities down there, which is the Gosnells Legal Service and Starrick House. They're both very good people to contact if you know anyone that's experiencing domestic violence, and if you know anyone, please don't let it go on. Please try to help and do your best, and don't walk by or let it go. So thank you all for having us here, and thank you very much.
Mayor, thank you very, very much for your insight about the City of Gosnells, and Fyava has always been very ably supported by the city, and we really appreciate your support and the City of Gosnells support. May I call upon Sonal Bhushan and Balli Singh, the other two people who are very much involved with the Federation for the bereavement and domestic violence issues, to take the proceedings further. One of the things that's coming up regularly about domestic violence is what exactly is domestic violence. The Mayor, Atulji, Aibji have given us very good ideas. So any incident or pattern of incidents of controlling, abusive, threatening behavior or violence on another person is contributed to be as domestic violence, especially in a close relationship between a family member. So without much ado, can I request Sonal Bhushan and Balli Singh to please come on the stage and start with the proceedings of the actual program. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Fyava, for trusting me. Thank you, Atulji. Thank you, Aibji, and all the senior members of Fyava for trusting me and giving me this opportunity every year to present before the City of Gosnells the issue which we all know that exists in the society, in our society, in front of us happening, but we still zip our mouth and sit there. Please don't do it. Don't walk past by, as the mayor said. If you know that something is happening, so please just report it to the police. Keep it confidential. Don't tell it to anyone. And the most important thing is trust the person who's telling you his or her story. See, we've heard a lot about domestic violence against women, but we don't hear domestic violence against men that much. So what I think, that might be my personal view, there's lot of events happening around the world to represent what's happening against women, and everyone's standing up for women's rights. I'm a woman myself, so I think that might be the perfect thing happening. But what about the men? Aren't they humans? They might be going through a lot. They don't speak. That's what our society has taught them. Masculinity, don't speak up. Show your strength. But that's not the case. We do have one client which has given us this access to tell his story, how Fyava helped him throughout. He might be taking my name, but me, as Sonal Bhushan, is a face of Fyava. So I don't know how to play that here, but it's in my phone, so might be you guys will be able to hear it, what he wants to say. But people who don't know Hindi, so he is actually thanking Fyava for helping him through the darkest phase of his life. He was about to commit suicide, and he is actually working very hard now for himself. Still now going through a lot, but there's a lot of confidence, there's a lot of courage that he can go through that. So give me a second.
हेलो नमस्ते, मेरा नाम रवि शर्मा है। मैं मेलबर्न में रहता हूँ। पहले मैं पर्थ में रहता था, अभी मैं मेलबर्न में रहता हूँ पिछले 2 साल से। आई नो फ्रॉम लास्ट 3-4 ईयर सोनल भूषण, वो पर्थ में रहती है। जब मैं पर्थ में बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम में था तो मेरा सिर्फ एक सोनल ने हेल्प किया। सोनल मेरे को कई बार, जहाँ पे भी मैं बैग पैकर में रहता था, वहाँ पे मेरे को खाना भी कई बार दे के गई वो आके। वो बहुत अच्छी लड़की है। शी हेल्प आउट ऑफ हिज, उसका लिमिट है, उससे भी ज़्यादा जाके वो हेल्प करती है लोगों की। उसने मेरा हेल्प किया, उसने मेरे को बहुत मोटिवेट किया। जिस प्रॉब्लम में मैं था वो मैं बताने में बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लग जाएगा। अब मैं उस प्रॉब्लम से थोड़ा निकल चुका हूँ। मैं मेलबर्न में रहता हूँ। आई एम रियली थैंकफुल कि मेरे को सोनल मिली, कि उसने मेरे को वो मिली और उसने मेरा हेल्प किया। और कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं कि बिना किसी स्वार्थ के हेल्प करते हैं। उसने मेरा बहुत हेल्प किया सोनल ने। और जब मैं पर्थ में भी था, कई बार बैकपैकर में आई वाज इन टू मच प्रॉब्लम। वहाँ पे मेरे पास कुछ पैसे भी नहीं थे खाने के लिए। वो मेरे को फूड भी बेचारी दे के गई। और मेरे को वो सबसे मेरा लाइफ का बुरा टाइम था, बहुत ज़्यादा बुरा टाइम था। उस टाइम पे उसने मेरा बहुत साथ दिया। उस टाइम दुनिया का सबसे बुरा टाइम था मेरे पे। और कई बार लोग बोलते हैं कि अपनी बातें बाहर नहीं करनी चाहिए या कुछ बताना नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि कई बार बोलते हैं कि हाँ, कई बार आदमी प्रॉब्लम में होता है, वो बता नहीं सकता, क्योंकि सब बोलते हैं यू बी आर मैन, यू हैव टू बी वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग। तो कई बार आपकी लाइफ में ऐसी सिचुएशन आ जाती है कि आप किसी से बातें नहीं करना चाहते। मैं 3-4 साल अपने घर पे ही लॉक था। मैं किसी से बात नहीं करता था। मैंने अपने आप को एक कमरे में लॉक कर लिया था, सिर्फ कमरे में रहता था और लॉक था। और मेरी स्टोरी मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम सोनल को सारा पता है। सोनल चाहे तो वो शेयर कर सकती है आपसे, आई डोंट माइंड, शी कैन शेयर विद एनीवन। पर अगर आप कुछ अच्छा करते हो तो आपके लिए अच्छा लौट के आता है। तो सोनल ने मेरा बहुत हेल्प किया। इवन आई वाज लिविंग इन मेलबर्न में भी उसने मेरा बहुत हेल्प किया। कई डॉक्टरों से बात की मेरे लिए, और मैं 2-1.5 साल हॉस्पिटल में था, बट नाउ आई एम ओके। आई एम स्टार्ट अगेन स्लो बैक टू माय लाइफ। आई एम रियली थैंकफुल कि सोनल मेरा सिस्टर है, वो बहुत अच्छी लड़की है, बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी लड़की है। उसने मेरा बहुत हेल्प किया। आई एम रियली थैंकफुल। वो मेरा वीडियो भी कहीं पे शेयर कर सकती है, आई डोंट माइंड। वो मेरा वीडियो भी कहीं पे शेयर कर सकती है। तो मेरे को ये लोग कभी भी अपनी लाइफ में नहीं भूलेंगे, जिन लोगों ने मेरा सबसे बुरे टाइम में मेरा हेल्प किया। तो मैं भी अब यही चाहूँगा, अगर मेरे से कोई हेल्प चाहता है तो आई विल ऑल्सो अवेलेबल टू हेल्प पीपल। जो लोग बात नहीं कर सकते, जो लोग कुछ प्रॉब्लम में हैं, उन लोगों की हेल्प मैं भी करूँगा। तो मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगता है ऐसे लोगों की हेल्प करना। तो ये चीज़ें मैंने सोनल से सीखी हैं, तो शी इज़ अ रियली रियली गुड गर्ल। तो मेरी भगवान से यही दुआ है कि सोनल को भगवान और मोटिवेशन दे और वो लोगों की ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हेल्प करें, वो लोगों की और ज़्यादा हेल्प करें और लोगों को वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से ज़्यादा जोड़े। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
This work which I'm doing, I don't expect anything in return. This topic is very close to my heart, and I'm working day and night with these people to get them back onto the track, to get their confidence. The pain and the things they are going through, we all can understand them, but building back the confidence and giving them the future ahead, the pathway to the future ahead, that is very important. So when they are clear what they have to do, then only it will be possible for them to come out of that, what they are going through. And it goes for both men and women. Fyava is not gender biased. We do get, as you have heard, male people coming to us and talking about the problems they are going through. Men need to wake up to the fact that it is men's problem. Until they wake up to that fact, nothing's going to change. This was said by a former Assistant Police Commissioner of New South Wales in 2013. Okay. We hear a lot about domestic and family violence. Can anybody here in the audience actually give me a clear picture what they understand when they say or hear domestic and family violence? Anyone in the audience? Hold this and go and give this right at the back to Drone's mom.
Thanks, Sonal. I think domestic violence could be in any form. So it could be financial abuse, controlling, money-wise. So I think that's one form of domestic violence. Sorry, Balliji? Abuse, yeah.
There are different types
Mental
of
torture.
abuse.
It's
Yes.
not only like hitting is not the only form of violence. It could be mental torture. So, yeah.
They say emotional torture, emotional abuse, and mental abuse
Yeah.
are the worst forms
Worst
of
forms.
domestic violence or any sort of violence, because physical wounds you can see, but what's
Yeah.
going on in your heart, what you're suffering from, going on in your mind, if you cannot talk to anyone, it's very hard to recognize these. So what are we going to do is, we are going to follow up 3 R's. And I would ask you, 3 R's are I'm sorry. Thank you, Sia. So we have these 3 R's, and they are recognize, respond, and refer. So when we say recognize, how are we going to recognize that the person is suffering from domestic violence? Can anyone in the audience? Helpers?
Just maybe a change in behaviour to what the person may have been like normally, and they may be reserved or not interacting with family and friends, or just really not responding to phone calls and that sort of thing. Just being, not interacting, basically.
Any other recognition or how you going to recognize if there are no physical wounds you can see, if that person,
Maybe sign of mental health
yes,
and realizing what the person is going through. If they have depression, anxiety, any types of mental health can affect the person.
so now we have recognized that a person is going through a domestic violence. Next step comes the respond. How are you going to respond to that person? You know the person is going through domestic violence. How are you going to talk to her, him?
Probably win the person's confidence first
Yes.
and slowly try to get out as much information as one possibly can.
How can you do that? Because people who are suffering through depression, people who are suffering through emotional stress, they don't talk much. They don't want anyone else to know. How are you going to win the confidence?
Counseling, get a counselor involved,
Yes.
and counselors have got a way of talking to the victims, and they probably slowly will open up, as we just heard how the other victim had opened up slowly. So maybe that's a way.
Yes. Thank you very much. First and foremost, listening. That's very important. You have to sit, listen to a person very nicely, very quietly, and let him finish what he has to say. Second thing is, you have to trust the person. You cannot judge. If the person is suffering from domestic violence, that automatically leads to a lot of mental health issues like depression, anxiety. So these people don't talk much. If the person goes, you've seen a person going through morning walk or for running every morning, and suddenly he or she stops coming to the park. What has happened? Try to figure out where he or she is, what is going on. If nobody knows, try to contact police confidentially and see, look, this person used to say, I really don't know, I'm worried about that person. So if you see that person again, just say hello. It doesn't take much. The way you say hello matters a lot. That gives him or her more confidence that, okay, she's the one, he or she might listen to me. Okay. So now we have responded. What are we going to do next? What's the third R? Refer. Yes. Where are you going to refer to that person? To the professionals, right? Different organizations. You are in the community. Google has everything these days. Go, sit on your computer, type what sort of help that person needs. But for that, you need to talk to him. He might be suffering financial crisis. He might be suffering mental abuse. There's a lot of things that have gathered. If that person is suffering from depression, why is that person suffering from depression? Financial abuse, lack of help in domestic tasks. A person who's suffering from depression can sleep for hours, doesn't want to get out of the bed. Piles of clothes, who's gonna? I'm sorry, I'm laughing because that was me one time. Like, I see piles of clothes and I don't fold. I still don't fold. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, you need continuous domestic help. Kids are not dressed properly. Kids are not playing outside. Normally you see kids playing outside, they're happy, but what suddenly happened? Kids aren't coming out of the home. They aren't going to the school. My kids come to me, that's for example, oh mom, we haven't seen him or her for a long time. Do you know where she is? Do you know what's happening in her home? I have the phone number of the person, of the kid that's in their class. Just ring his or her mom or dad and see what's going on. Haven't seen you for long. It doesn't take much. It's just you have to interact respectively to others. I won't take much time now. There's coming up a skit which is on domestic violence, and it is presented by Sanskriti Seniors of WA members. This group is socially and cultural club which meets every Sunday since 12 years. This group is well known in the community for their singing, drama, and literary activities. Performers are Vinod Mehta, Shri Sharad Sharma, Srimati Uma Kale, she is the narrator, and Leila Jha, and obviously chairperson Sanskriti Seniors Group, Mrs. Rajashri Malviya ji. Please welcome, guys.
While the team is setting up, may I request, we have the pleasure of Lul, who is a Somalian support group, to please come on the stage. And we'll request Aipji, our chairman, to please present her a scarf. Thank you. She's from the Somalian support group.
Good evening. Tonight we are Sanskriti Seniors of WA are presenting a little skit, which is none of us are actors or producers or writers, but we all put together this little drama. Our original script writer is Leila Jha. Our director is Rajashri Malviya, and Vinod, Sharad and myself, we meddled into the script, we meddled into acting, we had fought for every inch to have our position predicted. So tonight is the culmination of our efforts just to show how the domestic violence is so prevalent in our society. Indian society, Indian community is the fastest growing community in Australia. Along with that came many problems, and one of that is domestic violence. And domestic violence is so much prevalent in our society that government this year has put out $200 million to combat this problem. So we have to do something about it. We have to make aware of the society what's happening within the closed doors, and make people aware of and watch out for neighbors, our friends, or whosoever come across, and look into not for their dresses or their makeup or something, but behind their eyes, if there is any problem, you can sense it. Women are more sensitive. We all sense immediately there is something wrong. So all these things are very important for all of us. And there is so much help available, which none of us are more aware of it. So we had to have more awareness. We had to start teaching our children how to behave with their elder sisters, their mothers, and show the respect to community members. This is all starts at home. The school won't teach you all that. So you got to learn it at home. So today, Act of Family Law in 1975 said violence is somebody controlling, coercing some other person in the family, and that has to stop. So today we are presenting our little skit. Hope you all appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Adjust? I can't adjust, Mom. It's beyond control now. Mom, please do something. Help me, Mom. Mom, it's just too much. It's just too much. I can't walk without it.
You again on the phone? Who are you ringing up?
Nobody.
Ah, your mom!
No!
You must be You're either going to talk to your friends or to your family.
Okay.
You are only going to cook and clean.
Yes. Okay.
Now my friend is coming. Get me something to eat.
Okay.
Hey!
Hi,
come
Vijay.
in,
How are you?
Suresh. Oh, very nice to see you. We can sit in peace and talk. Yeah, sit down.
Thank you.
Are you talking about a project? What project do you have in mind?
You know, वो है ना Sonu Nigam.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
I was thinking of getting him over here.
Oh.
Now that the borders are opening up, we can have a live performance of Sonu Nigam.
Oh,
He is my favorite singer. I just can't wait to hear him sing that song, you know. मन में शाम हो या सवेरा लगा तेरी यादों का डेरा तूने बंधन क्यों ये तोड़ा तूने काहे को मुंह मोड़ा कहो ना
Ah, great. What are you waiting there for? Get us something to eat. This is what you cook? I'm not eating this rubbish. You understand? You don't try to. Come on, don't do it.
There's nothing
Cook
wrong with
something
this.
good, you know.
I think it's quite nice.
Let's me.
I'll cook something else.
Huh. I will get it from the Golden Chariot. I'll ask them to send it to us. Hey! Oh, I left my phone. Must be in the car. I'll just go and get it, okay? You relax, okay? I'm just coming back. Just a second. And you, here.
You okay?
I think so.
You know, I've seen his abusive behavior before. But you know, you don't have to put up with it.
Really?
And you don't have to go through this alone.
Okay.
You can get help.
I didn't know that.
There are organizations that can help you in culturally sensitive way.
Okay.
If it's alright with you, I can make some inquiries and get back to you.
Please do, Suresh. Please.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Oh, good morning, Suresh. Oh, thanks for getting back so quickly. So, you've managed to get me an appointment. Oh, so when can that be? Today? What time? 10 o'clock. That sounds good, Suresh. But please don't let Vijay know. He'll kill me if he gets to know. Thank you so much, Suresh. Thanks.
Hello Rita, thanks for coming in. I'm Anika, your social worker, and come have a seat. Here. Thank you. So Rita, first thing I want to make sure and tell you that this is a safe space for you. And whatever you say, it will stay between you and me. So Rita, how can I help you?
I've been married to Suresh for quite a few years now.
Oh no.
And I live in fear for my life. I thought when I got married that he would protect me. But the only person I need protection from is him. He is violent, manipulative. I have physical scars and emotional trauma. He has even destroyed my relationship with my own family. I really don't know what to do. Is there any way that I can get some kind of help from somebody?
Yes, Rita, there is help, but first, I am really sorry to hear that what you have to go through. So, there are lots of help available, and I would like to tell you that there are 3 types of help we can give you. First is providing you safe accommodation.
Thank you.
So, there are organizations like Starik and Zonta and other refuge.
Okay.
And we will make sure that, you know, like when you need it, you can get safe accommodation.
Thank you.
And the other thing is, we want you to mentally, physically, and emotionally supported.
Okay.
For that, there are organizations like Isha, Red Cross, RUA, and they can help you. Also, do you have any question in between?
Yes, I do have lots of questions, but at this point of time, if you can just give me the information, I can sort of figure it out in my mind and discuss further.
Also, seeing your situation, I think you will need cultural support also. And there are community organizations like Federation of Indian Association of WA and Indian Society of WA. They can help and support you in that.
Oh, so you mean that there is an Indian community that can support me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay,
and
that's
they have
nice.
connection with other organizations,
Okay.
and they can guide you.
Okay, thank you.
And third is, you will need legal assistance and advice.
Okay,
For
yes.
that, there are community legal centers such as Women Legal Services. They can help
Okay.
you, and they will support you. And issues regarding visa, you know, restraining order and other things.
Okay.
So, but remember, very important, if your life is in danger, something happens in the home, please ring police 000,
Okay.
and they will straight away help you.
Oh, thank you so much
And
for that.
also make sure you have to make a decision. That will be your decision.
I understand.
Then we can help you. We are here to help you.
Okay.
But your action is your side. Is that okay?
Okay,
You
I
feeling
guess-
okay? How are you feeling?
I feel a little bit better than what I was feeling
Yeah.
before. I need to process everything that you've told me and think about it and make a decision, I guess.
So ठीक है ना, समझ में आ गया?
हाँ, ठीक है, सब कुछ
So
ठीक है.
I will look forward for you to come back, and all the best for your future. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Take
Anika.
care.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Rita.
Thank you. Well, it's crunch time now. I have to make a decision. Should I stay or should I go? My life with Vijay has been like hell. I thought it would be my dream, getting married, having a home, but my life has really been quite the opposite. All that I ever got during my marriage was physical, emotional abuse, gaslighting, no money, no friends. I virtually lived like a prisoner. So I'm glad I'm trying to seek justice for myself. No woman or man has the right to hurt a partner or any other family member. We all have a voice. We need to use it. Speak up. Someone will listen and someone will come and help you. If any of you are aware of domestic violence situations in the community, we've sort of discussed today where you can get help. If a relationship is bad, walk away, contact the police or any of the agencies. I know it's not easy, it's easier said than done, but take courage, don't be a victim, because you're worth it. In my own situation today, as Rita Vijay's wife, I have made a decision. I want to change my life for the better. I want to be happy. And finally, I'm free!
हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन। We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday.
What a wonderful performance, isn't it? Can we give them a round of applause once again? Thank you. It was almost like realistic. I don't know how they got the ideas, but fantastic. Thank you very much, Sanskriti group. May I request all of you guys to please come back onto the stage. And may I request Mayor Linsing to please come with Atulji and present these guys with a little memento. Mayor, can we have you on the stage, please? Can we have you on the stage? Vinod Mehta, Sharat Sharma, Uma Kale, Laila Jha, and of course Rajshri Malviya, please. Thank you all once again. I really appreciate your performance and the example that are given out here. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute honor and privilege now to give a vote of thanks to all those who helped in making today's event a success. So in today's list to thank, I have on top of the list City of Gosnells for their $2,000 grant which made today's event possible. I also thank Her Worship the Mayor and the councillors for their great words of wisdom. As a large majority of our members live in City of Gosnells, Fyava is working towards developing a long-term strategic partnership with the city, and we are hoping that we will have our Fyava Center in this City of Gosnells. We are doing a bit of planning on that, and hopefully that will be successful. Next is the leader of Fyava's domestic violence team, Sonalji, for putting today's program together and dealing with the domestic violence cases. So we have dealt with about 45 domestic violence cases, which we are bound to keep confidential unless the victims themselves say that please, we are happy absolutely for you to tell our name, or sometimes they even give us the video. And all those cases, most of them happen this way. Sometimes I get a call from the hospital that so-and-so person, lady or man has tried to commit suicide. Mr. Garg, can you take charge from here? Can you introduce this person to the community? And hereafter, let this person feel that he's got somebody who cares for him or her. So then I immediately talk to my team members, Baliji and Sonalji, and then thereafter they take it from there. They go and meet the person and they go and see what facilities or help is required, whether it's some sort of a refuge or help with the police in getting a restraining order or help from the Department of Home Affairs, because sometimes the person who is perpetrating that violence is telling lies that you haven't completed your 2 years and I will send you back to India or wherever you come from. But that is incorrect. The person who is being a victim of violence, the government supports, and they don't have to worry about if they've not completed their 2 years during the requirement for visa. And the other thing is, anybody who's suffering violence, the government also gives $5,000 to the person who is suffering from violence. So those who don't know, you can pass that on to the people. And always, it is almost like, we are looking for people who are in trouble. It looks that way. To me, at least, it looks, Baliji and Sonalji, they're looking, somebody should be in trouble. So we don't want people to be in trouble, but if there is somebody in trouble, we are absolutely looking out for such people so that we can do our duty and help those people. Fyava is proud of both Baliji and Sonalji, and every day there is an example of such a case in which they've helped somebody. Then I come to IPG, who's playing a marvelous role in running Fyava as chairperson. His planning skills are excellent. He is always thinking of the next thing when he is doing the current item. His oratory skills are fabulous. I'm sure you would have heard his skills. He is a leader of Toastmasters. Nobody, at least I know, can beat him in giving a fantastic speech. And he doesn't refer to a paper. He doesn't need a paper. He's got a fantastic memory. He can remember very well. Now I come to the main item for which I have come to say thanks. Before, there are 2 more items left actually, but I decided to come and say thanks right after the main performance. The play, that is the play by the Sanskriti Seniors Group. Your quality of dramatics is absolutely beyond comparison. And we are extremely fortunate that you agreed to do this drama for Fyava. Without any doubt, in Hindi, आज के इवेंट में आपने 4 चांद लगा दिए. Meaning you have really studied stars into our today's program. This will become our joint creation to reduce the acts of domestic violence in the Indian community in future. We have got a professional videographer, and this will be any small little errors can be removed, and this videographed items can be presented to anybody who is a victim of violence, or at least put on Facebook and WhatsApp groups. And I'm so glad you also took name of Iswa, because Iswa is also my baby. I've always said Iswa is not something which I feel is my enemy or something. I was a chairperson of Iswa also, and it's also my baby, and we do want to work together, and we do things together. Fyava and whole Indian community is absolutely proud of you. I in particular, I'm very proud of my brothers and sisters in the Sanskriti Seniors Group. You are all more valuable to me than my own brothers and sisters, as I've spent my 30 years of life with you, really. So thank you once again for putting up such a good performance. And not only here, I've seen your skits and dramas and performance and the way you conduct yourself, and you are absolutely great example for our community that this is how our seniors should be. Thank you very much. So today's MC, Firozji, has tremendous experience in running cultural events, and not so long ago conducted the World Parsi Congress. Thank you for doing a great job at such short notice. And of course, I thank Shibu Bhai for providing the videographer, and you'll find that this particular play will be circulated to everybody. There are 2 events to come, but I'll thank them anyway because I won't be coming on stage again. And that is my son, Dr. Hemant Kumar. He'll be giving us a speech about the role of GPs in assisting the victims of domestic violence. Very useful information because the GPs themselves can provide a lot of help to and they are generally the first point of contact. They can provide a lot of help to anybody who suffers from domestic violence. They are the first people who can look at the medical signs and symptoms and make a proper recording of how the victim has been treated. I also I want to thank Anuradha Sharma ji. She'll be speaking later on. She'll be telling us a very meaningful poem. In a poetry form, she'll be giving a speech. Thanks to Fyava Secretary Narendra ji for seating arrangements and coordinating participants. Thanks to Mohit Bhai of Golden Chariot Restaurant. We are about to see a great food. Some of you have been here before, but I think some of you haven't been here. You'll find that absolutely fantastic, marvelous restaurant. I've always found this restaurant to be very good. They all not only they provide great food, great venue, services for video and audio. Finally, I thank you all for your ongoing support. Together, we will eliminate the social evil of domestic violence. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Atulji. That was wonderful. Thank you very much. May I request his son, Dr. Hemant Kumar, to please, to give us a bit of an idea about the issues that they can help out with. As a medical practicing doctor, he'll probably give us a perspective from the different angle. Hemantji. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, distinguished guests. As my dad said, I'm just going to talk to you briefly about the general practice side of domestic violence, how we can help, what our role is. And that's just briefly, that was taken today. That's my family. That's my wife, 2 monkeys there with Santa. So I've been married now to Arwen for 10 years. We've been together for about 14, and eldest son there is 7.5, and the youngest is 5 almost. And so, I carry a lot of that background knowledge of just what it's like to be married and have a family into practice every day. So actually we can go to the presentation. Look, I think the bulk of my introductory part of my talk has been covered, I think, very well already by the people who have presented before me tonight. And so I'll be quick on those points. We can go to the first slide. Yeah. Can you go in the display mode? Yeah. Just if you hit the presentation, I think it's just going to be a bit bigger then. Anyway, that's just that one. Makes it a bit bigger. There we go. So, like I said, this has been covered very well already tonight. The impact of domestic violence, essentially, there's a lot of evidence for all the signs in the first column and the second column of the kind of problems that we then see presenting to us in people who suffer from domestic violence. So a lot of the mental health issues that were mentioned by people already from the audience, depressive disorders and anxiety disorders, leading on further into things like eating disorders, and even in the kids in these families, we see them with new behavioral issues. And I think that was also, like I said, been covered pretty well. There seems to be a very good understanding in general of the kind of changes that we can see in people. And then, of course, the suicide attempts and even risky sexual behavior, which is a new thing in someone, unexpected change, often is not recognized, but it's a feature of potential domestic violence. Let me get the next slide. And again, by just sort of brainstorming in the group, we came up with some good ideas earlier about how it looks. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and all the parts thereof. So the economic abuse, the controlling of finances, contacts, social circles. And next slide, please. So psychological features and physical features that we might see in our patients that present to us with potential backgrounds of intimate partner abuse. So sleep difficulties, depression, suicidal ideation, etc. Somatoform disorder is an interesting one that refers to people presenting with unusual new physical complaints for which we can find no physical cause. A lot of those things can be like pain, physical pain, limb pain, headaches, that sort of thing, numbness, tingling, this sort of thing in various parts of the body. These are all kind of new, unusual things that if they present in someone, that would be a red flag that something is maybe going on. And again, eating disorders, drug and alcohol abuse, chronic pain, and again, the others. And, yep. So where we come in, again, as was mentioned by other speakers tonight, we are a point of contact for someone to come and ask for help. So in the 3 R's model presented by Sonalji, if someone is referred to us, and a referral, thankfully in general practice, just means someone says, go and see your GP. So they just turn up with an appointment. There's no other referral mechanism that's required. They come, and that gives us an opportunity to ask directly. Research shows that a lot of GPs, just like anyone in the community, would wonder, how do you even know? Oftentimes you can just ask directly. If you suspect someone has changed their behavior or something is going on, you can just ask, is something going on? And a direct question might be what that person is waiting for. And then discuss the options and support. So yeah, thanks. The next one, yeah. So what we do is, there's 2 broad ways of looking at it, where you suspect some domestic violence or abuse going on, and the patient has not disclosed that to you yet, be that despite directly questioning them. In that situation, if we sense that that's something that's going on, we would prepare the room and prepare the interview and prepare our patient for feeling like they can tell us. So we explain to them, you know, family and domestic violence affects a wide range of people. We have many ways of asking them tactful questions, and we can reiterate to them that general practice, like any medical consultation, is a confidential situation. So anything they say does not leave the room. They can tell us anything. The medical record, we record everything that is said. We describe in detail everything that is said in their notes, but those notes are sealed, they're confidential. No one can see those notes except under the authority of that patient. And so we assure them of this process so that they can actually feel relaxed and safe to tell us. That last point, sorry, just go back. That last point, sometimes the partner is also a patient at the same practice, and the person who we suspect, who is our patient, that maybe there's some domestic violence going on, they might feel worried that they can't say anything because the partner might find out, because they also attend the same practice. So we'll reassure them that's not the case. Even if they attend the same practice, the records are entirely different. The other partner cannot ask the doctor, even if they're seeing the same doctor, they cannot ask them for any information of what's going on in the other partner. So this is all about reassuring confidentiality. Thank you. The next one. So in the situation, if we feel that maybe something is going on, then we can probe further and ask, does the woman feel safe to go home on that day? Because oftentimes we have to ascertain on the day quite carefully whether or not that patient can even go home that night. And we can say then, a patient being exposed to going home and being confronted with someone who has weapons or is under the influence of alcohol, drugs, etc. We'll go on to the next one. So then comes the other situation where the patient is willing and will disclose to us directly that there is a situation of abuse or violence in their home or in their relationship. Then we have a very easy sort of process in that step in terms of the steps we have to follow. Again, remind them of confidentiality and then start the discussion of explaining to them what support is available. We have a lot of resources, and including all of the resources that are in the booklet and the resources that were mentioned tonight, we can easily tailor the response to your location of the patient, so north of the river, south of the river, and we can give them guidance as to where to approach that's local, how to, numbers to call, helplines, it's all that sort of stuff. And we can also refer them on for counseling. We can we can undertake a risk assessment and develop a safety plan. So I think the next slide. So risk assessment is basically immediate danger versus not in immediate danger. So acute versus non-acute danger. So immediate danger is obviously if we get the sense, if we have a reasonable belief that this person is not safe to go home now, then we would basically encourage them to, wait there. We will make some calls. We will call a refuge. We will arrange some immediate accommodation and separate that person from that situation. We can consider immediate mental health requirements. So if that patient presenting to us is acutely suicidal, has high risk of self-harm, and in some case homicidal risk, that if we feel they are in a mental state where they might inflict harm on someone else. And we also will inquire about any children involved in the situation and child protection services that might be required. We would do that all in one consultation, take the immediate steps. Then if it's if it's a slightly different situation, then we can say, discuss with the patient, engaging support from family, friends, and other community providers, again, including the list of providers in your booklet and others that we can access on the day. And of course, legal options, so family violence, restraining orders, protection orders, and under the COVID-19 changes recently as well, there have been some changes to the way in which that is done. That can be done over the telephone, that can be done on the internet. Legal aid can provide people help over the phone as well. So these are some new changes that have come in. And then we can write up a safety plan. I think that will be on the next slide. So safety planning is essentially the development of a plan with all the critical resources and steps that someone would need to take in such a situation. So phone numbers, safe accommodation, safe contacts, family and friends, ensuring that there's some access to financial independence, so cash or electronic funds, and obviously providing a safe place to store valuables and documents. There is a PDF document that we would use in this situation. It's quite long. It's about 4 pages, but it's very detailed. And we would go through that, identifying all the key documents, finances, phone numbers, accommodation, everything that will be required to ensure a safe exit from the situation. And that's some examples of items that we would find on that list. Go to the next one. So that's one of the links that's important. So getting online help for a restraining order. There are some apps that are available now as well. So we would recommend, for example, a woman in a threatening situation at the Daisy app. There's a Sunny app, which I believe is for same-sex couples. And the Better Man app is one for the covering sort of the male side of the equation. I think it's more oriented towards men who are concerned that they're tipping over into that sort of side of developing tendencies of control and abuse, and they want to stop that for themselves. Again, personal safety plan, which we would discuss with patient. There are lots of support services. There are a lot, and oftentimes it's a matter of educating ladies who present to us in this situation and informing them that there is such a service, telling them it's confidential, that it's free, it's available all the time. I think the next one as well. And again, some more numbers that we would, there's heaps. We would tailor this at the time to the situation that is presenting to us. I think that's the last slide. I believe that's the last one, yeah. Look, essentially, I think the sense of this has been covered very well tonight. I think everyone already has a really good understanding from what I've seen about what domestic violence is, about what the different kinds of abuse are, and the play and the talk from Sonalji earlier has really explained a simple stepwise approach on what to do if you see someone that you think might be in that situation. I think if there are some questions, I'm happy to answer them. Our role in general practice is, as with anything really, it's an open door. The beauty is that we can always bulk bill patients who have financial hardship and who need help. We don't need a referral from anyone in particular. People can just turn up. And that's our role in the community, to link anyone with anything they need. But yeah, I'll keep it brief. If anyone has any questions, I can answer them, but yeah. Otherwise, thank you very much.
I think Dr. Hemant Kumar had explained the things from the other perspective, which is the medical science part, and I think it gives a bit of a deep understanding. And I sincerely pray that none of us here and none of our friends and family ever have to go to him or any of the other medical. But if now you know, if there is somebody who needs help, where to look for. With no other further ado, may I request the chairperson of Fyava, Shri Aipji, to present a scarf to Dr. Hemant Kumar. Atulji, please. Emma ji, please come. We're almost at the end of the proceedings and the sessions, and I hope that you guys are enjoying it and learning something. Take it back home with you, keep it at the back of your minds, and hopefully you never have to use it. Can I request Sonalji to go for the next session? And after that, we have a short poem from Anuradha Sharma. So if she's going to be, keep yourself ready, and then off we go.
Now I'm going to talk about how domestic violence in home, it affects children. More than the perpetrator and more than the victim, children are the one who suffer the most because they want to stay with both mom and dad and they don't get away. And the hardest part is they have to choose their mom or their dad. And it becomes really difficult for them to choose. Let us pray and let us hope that children should not come into that sort of situation. But if they do, please be strength for your children. Don't just accept them and listen to your children very carefully what they want, and don't judge your children. If he or she, your kids, boy or a girl, if they're talking about their dad, never talk bad things about your partner in front of your kids. Never ever. Children who witness or are victims of emotional, physical, or sexual abuse are at higher risk of health problems as adults. They can include mental health, conditions such as depression and anxiety. And they are the ones who fall into coming up or becoming further perpetrators or the victims.
In the meantime, while we are waiting for these guys, there are a lot of people in Fyava who work behind the scenes and they never get acknowledged. Can I request all the Fyava committee members to please stand up? All the Fyava committee members, the president, whoever, vice president, please stand up and be acknowledged. Where is Balliji, Satindarji, Aibji? Can you please come on the stage quickly? All the Fyava committee members, please come on the stage. Thank you very much. These are the guys who work tirelessly and relentlessly for long hours, giving up their own times voluntarily. And Nautejji, why are you hiding? Please. And most of these guys run on either their own businesses or they have their own, they are presidents of their own associations and other things. So everybody has got a lot of experience, lot of information that they can share. Can I ask the public to please give them a loud round of applause? Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for making Fyava what it is. May I request the other councillors to also all come on the stage, all four of them. And Joe, Lulu, please join us. Honor us with your presence on the stage. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause once again to the councillors who work tirelessly for us and the Fyava committee. Thank you very much. May I request Anuradha Sharma ji to please come on the stage. Anuradha Sharma, thank you. She is going to sing us a little poem in Punjabi. And hopefully those who don't understand, just keep on clapping with her.
Okay guys, please be quiet because we have Anuradha Sharma here who is teacher in the community and teaches drug and alcohol abuse and domestic violence in the community. So Anuradha, please.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I congratulate Fyava to put together this event, which is much needed related to DV. As we all know that the awareness related to domestic violence is very less in the community. People think that that might be their family matter. We should not say anything. But the reality is that's a community matter and everybody has to stand up. If you think someone is going through trouble, if you think that someone might be going through trouble, there is no harm to speak about it. There is no harm to talk about it. You go to the person, you approach the person, ask them, are you okay? Are you all right? That's the few words of your kind generation. Generous words can make that person to open up to yourself. You might be the only person that person have who can they talk to. So it is very important. Please don't leave their side. If you think, if you just find out that something is happening with that person, please speak up. So Fyava, I thank you so much for providing me this opportunity to give me this stage to share my thoughts related to domestic violence. And today I'm going to talk about a poem which is related to women. So it is going to be in my mother tongue, which is Punjabi. And that is briefly, it's trying to say that in that poem, that time is changing, women is rising up for their rights. They are much aware than before, but still they need everyone's help, everyone's support to stand up for themselves, fight for their rights. So here we go. औरत एक खिडौना है सी किसे वेले पर हुण नहीं हुण उस नरजिंद गुड्डी च जान पै गई है रूह आन बड़ी जिस अबला तो बना दिता है इसनू लाटां वाली जगदंबा जो पसना भूस कर सकती है मर्द दे दावे समाज दे अधिकार ते अखौती महापुरुषां दे उपदेश हुण हवा दी बेटी मर्द दे पैर दी जुत्ती नहीं रही ए उठ खलोती है अपने अधिकारां दे लई इस समाज दे विच ना सिर्फ अपने ਲਈ बल्कि आने वालियां पीढ़ियां ਦੇ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਉਸ ਔਰਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਖੜੇ ਆ ਉਸ ਔਰਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਧਾ ਮਿਲਾ ਕੇ ਖੜੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਰਾਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭੁੱਲ ਨਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਜੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦੀ ਕਮੀ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇਕੱਲੀ ਆ, ਮੇਰੇ ਮਗਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ। ਪ੍ਰਦੇਸਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ, ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੀ ਕਦੀ ਨਾ ਕਦੀ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਸ ਇਹੀ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਔਰਤ ਦਾ ਸਾਥ ਦਿਓ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਔਰਤ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਮਰਦ ਦੀ ਕਥਾ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਨੂੰ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਓ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਤੱਕ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਸਕੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਲ ਹੈ। ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਇਜ਼ ਸਪੋਰਟਿੰਗ ਪੀਪਲ and there are so many other organizations which are there to help people, help women, help men if they are going through any issues such as domestic violence. So please, please pass that awareness to everyone, anyone you know or you think is going through domestic violence. Thank you very much.
Can I request you to please play a few words of that lovely Punjabi poem that you spoke for our family members and friends who do not understand Punjabi. So just a little quick English translation will help them understand. Also, by the way, people may not be aware that one of the bravest women in Indian history, the Jhansi Ki Rani, was born yesterday. That's the place where I come from. And it was her birth anniversary. And the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, went specially to that town to have a big function and a program. Most of the Indians will know about the lady called Jhansi Ki Rani. Is anyone here who doesn't know about it? You can talk to me later on, I'll tell you lots about it.
So as we're talking about Jhansi Ki Rani, she was a very, very powerful lady who ruled for her community, who ruled for that Indian community, and she was the only one who decided, I don't care whether I'm a woman, whether I'm a man, I'm going to stand up for my people all the time. And the poem I want to do a translate, it might go perfectly well with that. Maybe that not precisely I could have translate. Okay, so just going by the approximate. So women is not a toy anymore. She is not toy for the men. They cannot play with it anymore. She is not a shoe of a men's feet. So we have to be, she is much aware about her rights. She has risen up. And she is fighting for her rights, and she is there, she is hearing everyone. She is not only fighting for herself, but upcoming generation as well. Because since the childhood, we are hearing about the domestic violence, and now, after 40 years, I'm still hearing about the domestic violence. That means there is a missing puzzle piece which we have to put together to make this picture perfect. So everyone, please make sure that if you're hearing about any sort of domestic violence, please stand up. Please help community. Please help women who are not empowered. Because empowerment is the one thing that can help them to stand up for their rights. So that is very important part. So do what you can do and help everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anu. I literally got goosebumps when you were reciting that poem. It was very, very powerful poem. Last but not the least, I would like to thank one Fyava committee member who has always shown me her support throughout whenever I need it. She never says no to me, and she's always ready to provide her home or wherever she knows she can accommodate any lady. And that is Navtej Kaurji. Thank you very much for just being in the community and supporting us without anything expecting from us. Can I please ask you to come on the stage and say a few words?
For those who are not aware, Navtejji is the president for the Bennett Springs Gurdwara down south, and a very, very powerful person who has helped the Sikh community in Perth for last 35 years or more, as I can think.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm not president anymore. I'm vice president.
You'll always be our president.
I don't know. I didn't expect that I should be coming here, Sonal. That's very naughty of you. I'm sorry, I don't do much help, as I don't know what to say. I try my best. If I can accommodate someone, I'm not doing any favor, just if someone in need like me and Balliji goes, sometimes like in city of Gosnell, we help one girl really to secure her home because she was a domestic, her husband was just abusing her. And I don't know what else to say. I just do my work, whatever. I'm very much involved in Gurdwara activities. From there, we just provide meals to the needy and accommodation on my own if I can help someone. That's what I'm doing. Not very special favor. Thank you, Sonal. I don't know what to say.
This lady gets me emotional every time I meet her. She doesn't expect anything in return, and she's always there for the women who actually need support. The first thing they need is food and accommodation where they stay. And they do get it. This lady has never said no to me, and that's what we are doing. Don't say no to help. Just help everyone and anyone you can help in any way.
May I request our chairperson, IPG, to please present a scarf to Anuradha. Naftaji, please stay here. Lovely poem, Anuradha. Lovely. Thank you very much, Anu.
Can I request Councillor Saberi to do the honors? If you would, please.
That concludes the sessions for the night today, and I would love to once again thank every one of you who has taken time out on a Sunday evening to come and join us, especially our Mayor of Gosnells, Teresa, Lyons, Sarah Saberi, Emma Zhang, also Lulu Somalian Association, and Mr. Joe Pozuma. And every one of you who has come here, please, thank you very much once again. Have a good night, enjoy the dinner, and drive back home safely. Thank you very much.